everybody, it's me Blanche, rhymes with launch, and we are going to launch into a very exciting video today. I've always wanted to ride on Emirates Airlines for so many reasons. First of all, they've got these luxurious aircraft with every amenity you can imagine. The flight attendant uniforms are so elegant and classy. I want to wear them myself. And of course, for me, it's all about the food. We're not talking about circus peanuts and pretzels, folks. We're talking about world-class cuisine from every region of the world. So today I'm going to share with you one of their most popular dishes served by one of their most renowned chefs. And I even wore my most flight attendant uniform I could come up with. So come on this ride with me right here on Feast in the Middle East. For those of you unacquainted with Emirates Airlines, let me first give you an idea of the massive scale of food production on this airline. Emirates Flight Catering serves 225,000 meals a day and about 110 million in-flight meals per year. They have one of the world's largest catering facilities that's literally the size of 9 football fields, and they operate 24/7 with 1,800 chefs creating 1,300 different menus per month. What's cool about this airline is they want to give passengers a first taste of the region's food before they land. So their food represents 4 different regions of Asian, subcontinent, European, and Middle Eastern. Make no mistake, the food served on Emirates is a far cry from the food served on American prisoner airlines. They take great care to make sure the dishes are as authentic as possible so they taste like the food made at someone's home, along with all of the luxurious details. Today we are going to make a signature Emirates Middle Eastern meal called Matchboos. Another word for Matchboos is khabza, which is basically a rice-based dish with spices and either lamb, chicken, or prawns. But today, obviously, we are going to make it with prawns, which is really exciting. The chef who developed this dish is named Saute Al-Alam, and I modified it so that it would be easier to make for a Western palate. But one important ingredient that you might not be aware of that's in this dish is called loomi. Now, loomi is a dried up lime, and it's very popular in Iran. It looks like this. And what they do is they toss it into stews to add a tart flavor, or they use it in its ground form, which I'm going to use in this dish. If you don't want to get loomi, which you could probably get online, you could use lemon juice or lime juice as well as a substitute. What's cool about this is that it is rich in folate as well as potassium, and it adds a more nuanced flavor. So instead of just lemon, there's also a little bit of sweetness and almost a vinegar flavor, so it pairs very well with seafood. To make this prawn machboos, you do have to make a spice mix, and it's very simple. I'm going to add a teaspoon of the allspice, which is ever present in Middle Eastern cuisine, a teaspoon of cumin, I have a teaspoon of ground coriander. Now that loomi that I mentioned, I'm gonna start with half a teaspoon. You could add more if you like more tart flavor. About a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, ground cardamom, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. So what you're gonna do is just mix up the spice mix and set it aside because we're going to use it for the prawns as well as the rice. I've got here a pound of jumbo prawns. You could use smaller shrimp if you wish. And to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. My favorite is Harvest Peace. Just look in the description box. I have a coupon code for you to get 10% off. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of the spice mix. Add more or less depending on your preference for how spicy you want the prawns to be. Add salt and pepper to taste and marinate it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes before using. Make sure that the spices are coating all of the shrimp really well. Now to a heated pan, add 2 tablespoons of ghee. You can also use butter if you wish. And add to that 1 chopped small onion, which makes up about half a cup of chopped onion. Make sure you stir fry it until it's nice and translucent. Add 4 garlic cloves that have been finely minced, and to that add 1/4 cup of tomato paste. Once you've incorporated these ingredients, add 1 large tomato that's been chopped. Saute the tomato till it's nice and soft. Add 1/4 teaspoon of that loomi powder, followed by some salt to taste. Saute the tomatoes for about 10 minutes more till they're nice and soft and set aside. Now we're going to prep the rice for the matchboos. I have a tablespoon of the olive oil in a pot, and to that I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of the leftover matchboos spice mix. I'm going to stir it around to bring out the aromatics of the spice mix before I add the rest of the ingredients. Here I have 2 cups of rice that has been rinsed 3 times and soaked for half an hour and then drained. Add some salt to taste, and then saute and make sure that the spices are well incorporated with the rice. Now here's my personal take on this recipe. The chef originally cooked the shrimp and the sauce with the rice. I don't think that's a great idea because the rice takes 20 minutes to cook. If you cook shrimp that long, it'll be really tough. So what I did was just stir half of that tomato mix into the rice, and I'm saving the rest of the tomato mix to cook the shrimp in for about 2 minutes or so. Now to cook the rice, I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of water. Make sure that it boils, and once it boils, I'm going to reduce the heat to a simmer, cover, and cook for about 20 minutes. Now it's the easy part, cooking the prawns. I just heated up the rest of the tomato sauce, and I'm adding the prawns to it, going to saute it for about 2 to 3 minutes or until the prawns turn pink, and that's about it. Now it's time for the gratuitous close-up of the succulent shrimp infused with spices, garlic, and onions, well, just because. Hunk of shrimp and some of this rice. I'm loving the smell already. There you go. Now you think with all these different spices that it might be too strong, but it's not at all. So I say titrate it to how spicy you like things. Try a teaspoon at first. If you want more spice, add 2 teaspoons next time. But I think the spice mix, it's versatile with pretty much anything, lamb and beef included. And with this rice, it tastes completely different than it does with the shrimp. It's really weird. It just seems to adapt to whatever you add it to. I mean, this chef, he's a genius for a reason. Guys, these loomi limes are life-changing. Like, use them. I'm gonna put a link in the description so you could try it out yourself. Get the ground kind, not the whole ones. But yeah, it adds like a sweet and tart flavor to the seafood. It's like perfect for seafood. So I'm gonna be using it in a lot of seafood dishes in the future. What a great addition. It definitely gives it a different flavor than anything I've ever had. Definitely worth trying. And if you guys want to travel the world through food, especially the Middle East, what are you waiting for? If you haven't gotten my cookbook yet, you could find it at feastinthemiddleeast.com. I have dishes from Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, Morocco, Egypt. So, you know, this is how I like to travel the world, is cooking the world through food, and I hope you get the chance to do the same. Just go to feastinthemiddleeast.com and order before it sells out. Thank you for joining me for this in-flight entertaining. Hit like to let me know you like this kind of content. Subscribe and let me know what else you'd like to see on the channel in the comments below. I'm waiting for you guys. I read them. I'll see you soon.